Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm told climbing a ladder which is leading towards you is slightly difficult. In the same way, kissing a girl who's leading away from you is difficult. Today I'm sitting with people here with so much of experience in the private detective. This is more difficult addressing this crowd, but still I'll try my level best to share my experiences as far as the private detective industry is concerned, because I've been in the industry for almost 43 years. Mr. Jagaji, Tusharji, Ashishji, Rahul Jadhav and D.P. Shankar and my friends from Karnataka. It's a pleasure to be here. I think this is the first of its kind in the Association of Investigators and Detectives have organized such a seminar. I'll just go back to my coming into this industry. Somewhere in 75, 77, I was studying my BU in Belgaum. One of my classmates' brother was studying criminology, and we all used to stay in the quarters. My dad was the state head of agriculture department, so we used to stay in a colony, government colony. So during the vacations, this brother who was studying criminology in Karnataka College, Dharwad, used to come and tell me a lot of fantasy stories. Literally. And somehow I think probably we were all fascinated by James Bonds in those days. I think very much fascinated. I did my PUC, I scored very well, and my family was literally forcing me to get into medicine. But I literally had a fight with my parents and said I will join criminology. Somehow I convinced my dad and got into criminology. The first and foremost lesson that is taught in criminology is the observation. How you do your observation. I think that is the first character or first trait the detective is supposed to have. I still remember the first practical which was given to us was the Kim's game, sir. The Kim's game maker, they used to put about 20-30 articles in 5 rows into 4, something like that. You are allowed to get into a room and see this for about say even 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Come out and write the same thing in your same order. This is just an example as to how your observation should be, because the investigator is supposed to have a real observation skills. If not, it becomes really difficult for any investigations. I think we went through the best part of training is the biggest, I think the maximum I think research that was done in criminology in those days was I think the fingerprints. We had 4 semesters of fingerprints. We had footprints, we had a study of the toxicology, that is even forensic ballistics. We visited, those days we used to call hostels, who now they are juvenile centers. Even we visited your BARC, Baba Adama Research Center, where I think many of you must be aware, like a neutron activation analysis test was done to find out the cause of death, even through your nails and hair. I think the famous case is Napoleon's case, where he was found out through this analysis, where he was poisoned through arsenic. So this was the kind of exposure we had. Even I think we were taken to Hyderabad to the dog training center, how to train the dogs, how they should be trained. And the best was the criminal psychology and criminal sociology. What are the deviant behaviors we have which lead to crime, or criminal sociology? Many things, whether war leading to crime, beggary leading to crime, so many things leading to crime, the sociology part of it. So these are some of the beautiful learning we had, but unfortunately, we didn't have any reservations in any of the police departments. I'm sorry, even a Kannada BA/BSc guy could have become an inspector, but not a criminology guy. And incidentally, sir, unfortunately, even criminology was not a subject in UPSC, because those days, I think hardly few universities were teaching the subject. So minimum 10 universities is the criteria to get into the UPSC subject. Nevertheless, I did my BSc in criminology with first class distinction. I came off. And at the time my dad was posted to Bengaluru as the head of agriculture department. The best thing those days, 1980s, if you talk about, that is where I completed my graduation. Unemployment was a big issue those days. So getting a job was not so easy. Lucky for me, out of the college next day I was having a job for myself. You know, sir, what job I got? As a private detective. I was asked to go to Chikkapet, Balapet to collect Amruthan and Vicks ponds का sample collect करने के लिए. जाके sample collect करो, bring it back and give it to the office where they will send it to the lab for analyzing whether it's genuine or not genuine. Then if that they find out some duplicate things, then we'll again start backwards, where I got the sample from there to be distributed to the manufacturer. And that was done voluntarily, sir, got paid also. Payment भी नहीं आता था, हम लोग करके बाद में कंपनी को लिखते थे कि we have already found out something like this. This is where I started my career, and it was quite interesting, especially the last phase of reading was really difficult, because even those days these kind of raids were very rare, very rare. Then we had the investigations related to what we call the undercover operations. They're very rampant, especially pilferage when the stores or go down, a guy gets in as a helper and does this gets into the system to find out where the pilferage is, who are the guys who are involved in the business. That was very common, because we used to go as hamals, we used to go as helpers, even packers, those kind of things. But the best part was unions those days, sir. They were very strong. I think today TCS and other people, they don't even know what is union. But the industrial setup, they were having, I would say, very I think, aggressive unions. The management used to get ready, say for example, you have your negotiations during the year end or the March mid, whenever they have their negotiations. They want to understand, or they want to, I think, be prepared with their homework to understand what is that they are planning, what is that they want to demand, and at which level they will break even also. So that they are, if they are going to ask you 100 rupees, okay, you will settle down at 50 rupees. So all these discussions will happen in normal courses. Those days, not much of, I think, facilities were there where they would sit in a closed room and they used to discuss all these things in the open restaurants or open villages. So this was the strategy of the managements, that they'll hire private detectives to get this kind of information. This was pretty good business those days. So we used to get this kind of information. The management used to have their own say, look, this is what it is. Yes, this is what we want to do. Close it, you're asking 100, I'm giving you 40, 50. Very peaceful settlements used to happen. Very rarely, I think, some companies, they used to have these kind of aggressive or very, I think, even violent actions used to happen. Now, the other case was whenever especially the union leaders or any worker who has been suspended for some reason or the other. The best of the investigation was the subsistence allowance. Now these guys were suspended and they didn't have any work, and the cases used to go on for years. Now this guy will not sit by because he doesn't have income. This guy has to go and work elsewhere. If he is found working, he will not get the subsistence allowance because he is claiming that allowance from those people. So we had to get the proof of this guy working in some company. So that was another case which we was a pretty good one, because those days, मेरा बीवी क्या कर रहा है, मेरा husband क्या कर रहा है, those cases are very little. These were the major cases. Now, of course, the insurance fraud cases, especially connected with the vehicles, were very rampant. I still remember JCB तभी आया था sir, very recently JCB, one fellow came and said my JCB is missing. Those days JCB missing was totally big news. You can't move a JCB overnight, okay? But then this did happen. You don't need to claim the insurances and all that. So vehicle insurance fraud was very rampant. There are also the bank fraud cases. I still remember a bank where those days it was all manually counted bundles of. So in the bundle only, if one note is taken, nobody even knows, because even CCTV camera will not have. So these kind of things, they can't even go to the cops, because if they go to the cops, the reputation of the bank is at stake. So they will again come to us and this. So what I'm trying to tell you that investigation in those days was something related to these kind of situations. I think somewhere in 85, 90s, I think our people started moving to US and other countries for jobs. That is the time we started having the matrimonial cases. I'm sorry, because many guys, they say they're working in US, they're software guys, probably the guy is doing some jhadu job there, we don't know. Or guy is already married there, we don't even know. This became very rampant and they wanted to find out what is this guy. Now, we didn't have access to US, sir. Incidentally, because of the connections what we have today, or I think IAS or something, WAD was there, ASIS, I'm a member of ASIS. So through those connects, we used to get some information. It was basically a strategic arrangement what we used to have with these people. If I have anything in US, he would take care. The same US guy has something in India, he would fall on me. So that's how we used to get the investigations. Now, for the present, if you ask me, the biggest business, what I see here, pre-matrimonial, post-matrimonial. Now the pre-matrimonial, in the 83, I would like to share one of the cases, ma'am. It's one of the young girl, this was somewhere in 84, 85, sir. Young girl, a very rich family, only girl in the family. She was just around, I think, 18, 19 years of age. Got into affair with one of the boys. And those days, that was also very slightly difficult those days, not that much of the thing, but still. When she was talking to the family went on saying that this boy is not suitable to you. You should keep yourself away and all that. She said, no, I know this boy very well. I would like to get married. But then the parents said, okay, this boy has a very bad history. He's been doing this quite some time, and I think because he always looks for rich girls and all that. That is the kind of story or the image they built. If you want better, we will hire a private detective. Those days, this was a luxury, sir. Hiring private detective for this was a luxury. I still remember I charged somewhere around 800 or 1000 rupees. That's also 1000 rupees I must have charged for a week or 10 days of investigation. Why I am telling this story is, in the end I will tell you why I am narrating the story to you. This investigation went on, we found out about the boy. The boy was an ordinary salesman in one of the shops, sir. Very small little shop. But he had a good family background, good upbringing, and never had anything negative in him. And the girl came and said, this is what I want to know. And that whole record, the report was ready. The girl only mistake she did was she carried my visiting card and kept it at home. The parents got the card and they came to know that she has had me. From then onwards, I stopped giving my visiting card to any investigation people who came to my office. I'm telling you this. I stopped giving my visiting card to any of these people. So the worst that happened to me was the parents walked into my office, sir, and they said, Mr. Katti, we don't mind paying you 5,000, 10,000 rupees, but you give us a negative report. I said no, because we as investigators, we carry a lot of ethics. If we don't have these ethics, then the whole, I think the society will stop trusting the private detective community at all. That is not the case. I'll tell you, even today, I feel good that girl got married to that boy, came to me with her parents. But I never told the girl that your parents are this because they will lose their respect. I never told her. This is where I think we need to have a lot of ethics in the detective business. Many a times we do get these kind of temptations. Should be away from this. Otherwise, there's no value for this in this particular business at all. Now, post-matrimonial is a fantastic business, at least in Bengaluru, sir. Thanks to the software industry, man. A lot of people, they work very closely. The infatuations, I would not say love or anything, the connects are very, very good. I don't say I'm thankful to the industry. I'm thankful to the industry, but at the same time, it does good, lot of good to our industry. On an average, Legasar, we have at least 8 to 10 such investigations a month. So, what my wife does, what my husband does, fantastic. This is basically only a post-matrimonial. They want to understand what's happening. The next level is the diverse data collection. That is another business we have here, where again it's the same thing. If the lady is found working somewhere, you will not get that maintenance allowance or alimony, whatever we call. This is another thing. This is one thing I am thankful to my own industry, because if he or she is found working in any factory, security तो हमारे ही community का है सर, हमारा ही security agency है, और my own friends are there just calling, अरे यार थोड़ा इसका find out करना, ये लड़की अंदर आ रहा है, नहीं आ रहा है, that is the case, take the ID card details है, बस खत्म हो गया मेरा काम. So this are the investigations what we have regularly. Apart from that, I think there are cases. I think Kumar Vikram Singh Saab has handled one of the Interpol cases. I remember he keeps telling me a case which was not, I think, solved by Interpol, was solved by him, which was a Singapore, I think those days, Inlays Bank. There was a fraud case. It was done by the big guy. Baba was there, I think. Recently, Vadavan's expired. Those are all big investigations, because I started, I've grown seeing all these big guys. Even Prem Kumar, Globe Detective, was the, I think, pioneer who came into this industry. Linge Yoda, who was our own Karnataka, he was a Scotland trained detective, and he was doing pretty good. He was doing pretty good. I don't know, his son he was supposed to be here today. I don't know whether he is here, Suji. So these are some of the investigations. Now, there is also, like Mr. Jaga told us, that we don't have legal, we have legal authority. It is our own way of thinking that we are legal. I think we feel that we are legal, but at the same time, when we look at UK, US, or other things, we are not on par with what we are doing there, because there I think arrest anyway. Here also anybody can arrest anybody, but going to the court for giving evidences, all these things are official there. Of course, here also I think in India, we all are aware, so we are already having a bill. I think 2007 May, it has already been put forth. I think it's pending before the Rajya Sabha, if I think it is on balance with what we have PASARA today, Private Security Agency Regulation Bill, where we are all regulated to a certain extent. The same way I think the Private Detective Bill is also coming. I don't know why it is stuck at the Rajya Sabha level, but we are working on it. There also I think we have certain conditions, like the fees are very, very high. Somewhere around 3 lakhs or 4 lakh rupees is the license fees, and the detectives have to be trained as per the national occupational standards. I don't know what is the national occupational standard we have created for ourselves. I think this is one thing which we need to really look upon clearly, because what is the national occupation standard? Who has defined and who is going to do this? Because unless he is trained there, you cannot call him a detective. See, today, a guy who leaves a job from my company can go and become a detective. Okay? But then that is okay, because with experience also a lot of things do work. Here also they have, I think, where they're going for state to state. One state is this license, and if you're going to have multiple states, this is the license. Unlike PASARA has a district and a state, that's how it is. The regulation is going to be there. I think we should have a regulation somewhere. As leaders of the industry, I think we need to be regulated. Because we Indians, we don't work without regulations. I'm sorry to say this. We need regulations, otherwise things become really difficult. Because the best example is the security industry itself. Today it's been regulated. A lot of things I think are in place. I've seen this. 80s में 275 rupees में एक गार्ड का चार्ज करता था. Even 50 rupees की big money was there. There was no ESI, no PF, no regulation at all. Absolutely. But today, you ask me, my guard has better regulation than me. He has his ESI details with him, he has his PF details with him, he knows how much salary he has earned also. It's a good thing, right? Because even the customer, on the other side, the customer is willing to pay you. And majority of the, I think, at least I know for South India, the customers here, at least because of the, I don't know whether the corporates or the MNCs, majority of them are based out of South. Being MNCs, they respect the law of the land. This is for sure. I think majority of the customers. The reason that they know for sure their books are clean. The only books they can lay on is the contractors. Because they know the contractors, how they play. So it's a backdoor entry for them to get into these kind of organizations. That is the reason I think, because I am only operating in South, so please don't mistake me. I am happy with what I have in South. The compliances are much better. The same way I think the private detective industry will also be regulated, should be regulated to a certain extent, because very few of us are, I would say, qualitatively much better off detectives. I am sorry to say this, very few of us. Every agency calls themselves a detective agency, but then what has to be discussed on that? I think we need to have proper regulation, and I'm sure the regulation will bring in a lot of discipline amongst ourselves, and I think the statutory wise, I think we should be more compliant, and I hope to see those days as early as possible. And I'm going to share the draft copy of which I'm carrying. Yes. I'll share it with Mr. Shankar, which is since 2007 it's just been there. So I think right from J3 days it has been done. It's beautifully drafted and done. I think it's for you people also to work on that collectively I think we all should get into this. I don't know whether you like it or you don't like it. We will get into regulation. I think we should get into regulation. Now, the last, I think the character or a responsibility. I think we should, as investigators, what I have seen many times, the quality of an investigator having patience and has the reflex actions. The reflex action is, those chalu kind of guys who will immediately react. So, for example, one guy was standing in front of a young girl's house because that young girl was on a surveillance. वो लड़का उधर खड़ा है. The other guy who is after that girl was watching this investigator. He saw him for 2-3 days, 4 days. देखा तो what this guy is doing here? Because this boy is after that girl. So he is seeing another guy standing in front of her house. So he came and asked, how the hell, why the hell you are here? Been 2-3-4 days I've been watching you. यहाँ पे क्या कर रहे हो तुम? Now what this boy can tell? He cannot tell that I am a private detective, I come here for surveillance. Can he say that? He cannot say that. No. He has to think so fast. With a reflex action, you need to get out of that situation. Okay? This is what I call instant thinking. That fellow said, sir, किसी ने पैसा दिया था. That fellow has told me that he will meet me here. He said he'll get me a job. I come from a village, sir. I've been waiting for him. Just an example. Get out of that situation is more important. And the patience. I would like to share one more investigation which I think I had a lot of patience. And more than me, the customer had so much of patience. Somewhere, again this is in the 90s, Virabhadra was the DG those days for Karnataka. Police never used to handle personal cases. Any personal cases are there, they used to recommend them to go to detectives, private people. So this was a lady, from a Polish lady who got married to an Indian engineer. It was a love marriage and this Indian engineer was in Poland to do his engineering. Then he got married to her, came here, big industrialist in Bengaluru. Married, 8 years old son, sir. After that, the lady suspects the guy. Now she went there, then from Vishwanath, lady sent her to me and I had this discussion. That man, it's 8-year-old child you have, you're now married, all these things are there. In spite of that, what's wrong with you? Why do you suspect your husband? And he is a successful businessman, he is running a big factory also. She said, no, I suspect this guy. I said, you must be having some reason. Have you seen him moving around with somebody? What is it? She said, no. Mr. Katti, I saw a condom in his briefcase, which I know for sure. As a wife, I know that this is not required. Because she knows, to that level at least, she knew that this is not required. That state of this thing was known to her. So, ठीक है, चलो, we took up the case. Again, maximum 1,000-2,000 rupees होता था. That was a big money, it was not a small money those days. She came and paid 2,000 rupees, we took up the investigation. The guy was very, very sincere. घर से निकलेगा, factory जाएगा, factory से office will come home. This went on for 1 week. We called the lady and said, ma'am, your husband is good, nice guy, don't do anything, go ahead. She said, no, I am not convinced. She again gave us 1 week's money. She asked us to continue. Again 1 week, the same routine, so nothing, no changes at all. Because they're very good at this thing. I said, ma'am, please, I think there's something wrong. This went on for months or almost 1 month. She went on paying us this money. At one stage, she was running out of money. She gave out her gold bangle. Said, Mr. Katti, this is my last thing. This is one last time. I said, ma'am, you're wasting your money and my time. This guy is too good here. So where banda nikalta, he goes to the factory and all that. But she really pleaded that I should take up this case one last time. I told her, ma'am, keep this gold bangle with you. You given me so much of money for so many days. I will do this. To luck, I think, favors. This guy was found picking up a girl at around 4:30, 5 o'clock in one of the offices. I still remember Sir Sankey to pay. And he had that old Fiat car. He used to drive a girl, go to BL area. BL was a big forest used to be there, so eucalyptus growth. Now, of course, BL is a big city, but in those days it was outskirts. We saw everything and then we came and told the lady that this is the whole story, that this guy was meeting this lady. But now this lady was hell-bent on saying that I would like to see this for myself. The problem with us was if she creates a problem, then we would have had serious consequences. I said, no, man. She said, don't worry. I will not do any such thing. We anyway took her and showed her, and then the whole thing was solved. But then the question was, what happened for about a month? Why this guy did not meet this lady? The biggest question was that, because the lady questioned 1 month. The people have been doing this investigation, but then what happened? When we started digging that part of investigation and we did, unfortunately the girl was out on a holiday for a month. Now, the patience was hers or mine, I don't know sure, but we really solved this case. But later on we came to know that the lady left India with that kid without creating any problem. She just left India. She did not get into any of these things. Now these are some of the experiences I had. The industry is great because I have survived in this industry for 44 years and there are much bigger players here. I think there's much more investigations which are coming now. I think right now the cybercrime is one of the, I think, avenues what we have right now. A lot of guys from our industry are getting trained in this, both ethical hackers, unethical hackers. All these guys are there, sir, who will also get into this. Of course, the ethical hackers will always help us in getting these kind of informations. But my advisors don't get into, I think, call tracking and all those kind of things. Many people have got into serious problems. But still many agencies do this, I know for sure, but my advisors, please don't get into this kind of activities because it's illegal as of now. And of course, even the surveillance, many a times we may get caught into, I think, invasion of privacy act because of that. I think this is another risk part I'm talking about. So let's work, if we have to work as I told you, with a lot of reflex action as to how to get out of the situation first and keep doing a business. I thank you very much for having given me this audience. I wish you all the best. I'm sure at the end of the seminar, everybody will feel more educated, more enlightened on the private investigation industry. Thank you so much, sir.
Katti sir, thank you so much. It was really interesting session. In fact, what you said is really correct because I am into matrimonial investigations and it's really risky at times that people tell we want the CDRs, we want the surveillance. It has happened in the past one or two times that our people have got caught and then it is very difficult from police to take